Hey, what is going on, World Civ kids? It is Mr. Mori, obviously. Different location in my living room this time because my son and wife are off visiting Grandma because grandparents haven't seen Henry in 2 months, so that would be really sad because he's in such a formative age. He looks so different now than he did even a few weeks ago. So yeah, that's get to be up here and I can be loud and not have to whisper because Henry's taking a nap. But I just wanted to take a moment to kind of conclude the class a little bit. It is, there's no discussion question with this, but I hope that you would watch it anyway. You know, um, I know that the class didn't end, the way that it probably would have ended. And that we obviously had to make a lot of changes and a lot of adjustments throughout the class starting, about a little bit more than a month ago. I don't know, I've lost track of the days, to be honest with you. But so I know that it's been weird and it's been challenging, and normally I get through everything, and this is the first semester ever that I have not gotten through the entire World Civ thing. Normally I have a whole day to do the Holocaust. I have a whole 3 days-ish to get through World War II, and I usually have a day or two to get through the Cold War, and then we have 2 days to review for the final exam, and then I have you guys for the final exam. And I was just looking over a lot of the things that I had to axe for this semester, and there would have been things that you guys would have had fun with, like my World War I game, and it would have been a lot of fun to have you guys do your propaganda assignments together. And um, it really it is hard. I know that it might seem like work for you, but I find a lot of my identity in my job, and so not being able to do it that way is very, very hard for me, at least. I know that all the discussion questions we wouldn't have done if we were together. So I don't know. I feel like the workload kind of evened out. So it's kind of unfortunate because the workload you would have had if we were together would have been a lot more fun. And so I feel like you were kind of deprived a little bit of the Mr. Mori experience because I really did have a lot of fun things planned for us to do that we just were not able to do. But it's done. I think that most of you are going to pass this class. Just know I can't tell you exactly how things will be graded, but if you did a lot of the stuff for these NTI days, you will be rewarded very well for that. You will be rewarded greatly for that. So it will certainly benefit you to have done the work with the NTI days. So yeah, it's pretty crazy times. At the end of each semester, I like to show this slide because I feel that it is. I think I'm going to move me down here because I think that it really embodies a lot of kind of like my final comments, and it is from the greatest TV teacher ever, and it's Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World, which is a really good show. If you haven't watched that, I definitely would give it a watch. It's definitely 90s, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I grew up in the 90s, right? So Mr. Feeney says, you see, education is not about obscure facts and little test scores. Education is about the overall effects of years of slow absorption. Concepts, philosophies, approaches to problem solving. The whole process is so grand and all-encompassing that it really can't be threatened by the occasional late-night no-hitter. And basically what that quote is saying is, look, I know we have these tests and there's like all these specific things you have to remember on the tests, but just know, like, I know like kids joke, well, I'm going to forget it all anyway. You will probably forget all the specific things, but my class and a lot of public education in general is not geared towards you remembering Napoleon Bonaparte, the date of Napoleon Bonaparte's last battle, the Battle of Waterloo. It is because you're not going to need that in life. What we want to stick is the concepts and the broader spectrum. Machiavelli, okay, and us spending time on his political philosophy and how he kept coming up over and over and over again, those are the things that you will remember. And you know what? You probably won't remember where or when you learned it. You probably aren't going to remember me. By the time you're my age, you probably won't remember Mr. Mori. But you'll know about Machiavelli. Or at the very least, his philosophies have been ingrained into how you view the world, right? If you were paying attention. Some of you, you really aren't going to probably remember anything from this, and that's a real shame. But the vast majority of you, I feel, you will keep those concepts, right? So, for example, I don't remember how I learned about the Gilded Age in American history. Like, I can't specifically remember the moment that I first learned about the Black Death or the bubonic plague, but I remember it, right? So I don't remember when I learned it or who taught it to me, but I know it somehow. And I, obviously that had to have come from high school, from middle school, because by the time I get to college, the fact that I already know the bubonic plague is a thing, I had to learn that from somewhere, and it wasn't from TV. It was from a school teacher, and I don't remember what teacher taught it to me, but I do know the bubonic plague, right? And so that's kind of what it is. Like, we don't expect you to learn the specific concepts, but the broader concepts, those will stick with you. Even if you don't remember when or where you learned it, what you learned in those broader scopes will remain. It's like in math class. They don't expect you to remember how to do proofs in geometry, but they expect it to teach you problem-solving skills, right? So I know there's like a lot of jokes out there that, I don't remember anything from that class, but you will. You will, unless you were sleeping the whole time. And even then, hopefully something sunk in. If nothing else, that amazing medieval unit, which, is my favorite. And so the rest of the quote is saying, when you're looking at school in these broad terms, it's important to take it seriously. But you know what? If you have a day off, if you just chill and enjoy your life, you're going to be fine. What he's referring to specifically is the character Corey Matthews stayed up all night watching a baseball game with his dad because his dad was too busy to, hang out with him earlier in the day. And then because Corey stayed up late, he failed a test in his history class. And Mr. Feeney, at the end of the episode, says this quote saying, you know what, at the end of the day, it's really not that big of a deal that you bombed this one test. Don't stress about it. What is infinitely more important is that you had a good night with your dad and that you had that bonding moment. I have to say, take school seriously, but have a good life. Enjoy your life because you only get one. And believe it or not, you guys really are very important to me. I did not get into this career field for the money, that's for sure. So it's, that's a message that I really think that I hope you guys get. And the second quote is really more for my psychology, but it also applies to you guys. The old nature versus nurture conundrum. Personally, I believe that a man, and of course he's speaking of men or women, no matter where he comes from, chooses his own path. And that to say, as you exit my class, as you're done with Mr. Mori, maybe forever, just know that no matter what obstacles you face specifically, that your destiny is in your own hands and that you can do whatever it is that you want to. If you fail in this life, it's really on you. I mean, we all have problems. We all have difficulties. I'm obviously not going to share my personal difficulties with you guys because they're very personal and really nobody's business but mine. But just know that even I have problems, and I have shared the problems that I had in school, being born dead and all of that stuff, and how that impacted my school life. But we all have personal troubles and all of those things, going back to the Enlightenment and, every man is born free, but we put our own chains on, right? That to say that if you want to achieve if you have something that you want in this life that is good, don't go hurt people, but that is good, go get it and don't stop until you have it. Ultimately, you choose your own path, and I just kind of wanted to kind of leave you with that. I did really enjoy you guys' class. I did enjoy your feel, like the feel of the class. I thought that there were a lot of good students. A lot of you were good, and it really does bum me out that I couldn't spend the proper time with you guys. That really does bum me out. The Holocaust lecture is something that I do like a really good job with, and it really bums me out that we just don't have time to do it. With the grades having to be posted on Wednesday, I'm just not comfortable posting another discussion question, which could hurt some of your grades. So I decided to not do that. Another cool thing is, I show you guys these awesome videos. One of them is an interview with a girl that escaped North Korea. It's just, those last few weeks really are awesome and really are cool. But you know what? Things are going to go good. I hope you guys have a good summer. I hope that we come back in the fall and that things are awesome, and that maybe some of you will take psychology and that we'll have a good old time. Make sure that you're doing things to keep yourself happy and to find joy during this corona apocalypse. Well, I know that me personally, there was a few days there where I was really struggling with, just staying positive and motivated. And, things that keep me going are like, getting this book cover done. I got some of my characters done, right? And that's really been keeping me together in a lot of ways. There's another one. So yeah, it's going. I hope the summer is a little bit more. Even an introvert like me needs to get out every once in a while. I miss the movie theaters. I miss being around certain people. And I really do hope you guys have a good summer. I apologize if things were tense at any point. I hope that you guys learned something and you enjoyed yourselves. I know that I did, especially for the time that we were actually together. And I don't know, to close out, I don't think I had time to show you guys a Forged in Fire episode. But normally when we learn about the katana and Japanese stuff, there's normally a day, if there's time, to watch an episode of this show called Forged in Fire. It's like this cooking show. Well, it's not a cooking show, but it's like those cooking shows on the Food Network. But instead of cooking, it's making blades. And I ordered one from one of the contestants 3 years ago. And it just now came in the mail 3 years later. So now Mr. Mori has 2 swords and a tanto knife, which is the samurai's traditional knife. But this is obviously a modern take on it. He calls it a zombie killer because it's so... But this thing is sharp, and it is awesome. But just some cool news that's history related. This is a samurai. This would be like their sidearm, pull it out in close quarters when the katana is too long and clumsy. But anyway, that's kind of cool news. I hope you guys have a good summer. Hope you enjoyed the semester. And I hope you actually took the time to watch this video, even though there's no discussion questions. Care about you guys. I hope you know that you are cared about and that I treasure your presence and I treasure your existence. And I really want to see you guys succeed in life. I really genuinely mean that. I do genuinely care about how you guys do in life. It breaks my heart when I hear that something bad happened to one of my ex-students. So take care of yourselves. Make sure you thank Miss Wingate for all the help that she did. She is honestly the reason that some of you guys are passing this class. So make sure you give her a thank you and wish her a good summer. And I hope you guys have a good summer. And I'm done taking any more of your time. You're done with me. Have a good one.